Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics video on the channel. It's Wednesday. Trade Talk is back for another episode ahead of round 7. So interesting week for trading. I know a lot of people are probably stuck a little bit like what I am, where you downgrade a rookie to another one and then you go up. Probably can't really get much unless you banked some cash last week. So going to be an interesting week for trading. I think there's a lot of different directions coaches can go to. And the other thing as well, pretty slim pickings with the rookies this week. Not a huge amount of rookie options to be going for. We've got a couple which we'll touch on here because as always, we'll go through the top 10 most traded in, and then the top 10 most traded in and the top 10 most traded out, along with touching on a few other names that are just outside the list. And I'll go through my top 5 targets, but I dare say there's probably not going to be many rookies in that list of the top 5. So we'll go through all those as we always do. So let's get stuck into the most traded in. So the number one option this week, coach are going to is James Tunstall. So 10.6k jumping on him and scored 59. So it's not like he went absolutely nuts, and probably just showing, I guess, the lack of rookie options. So 260k, break even a 3. Played 58% game time for that as well. So really low game time. I'm a bit nervous of this pick. I think. And the reason I am is because Brisbane lost pretty badly, and Kyle Lohmann looks like he'll be back this week. I think Tunstall's probably the guy that probably goes out for him. If not, he might be the sub. It just worries me. Brisbane's a tough team to get into. He plays low game time anyway and could be at any point. But as we sometimes say, beggars can't be choosers. And if we don't have many rookie options this week, and he's like the one that we've got, or one of them there, I can definitely see why we're going there. Because you've got to downgrade, right? You can't... It's probably going to be a bit hard for teams to go someone down and then someone up on the other end. You probably could, but it'll be tough. So you might have to go James Tunstall. So he's on my watch list in terms of rookies, but he is one that I'm not confident in. But then again, are we confident in many of these guys? So, but he is an option there. Nearly 11k have jumped on him at a time of recording. Number 2, Nick Daicos. 4.6k are jumping on Daicos. And he was like 15k people jumped on him last week. So he's near 40% owned. I don't own him. And I'm scared not owning him as well. He's averaging 105 for the year, but it's more like you removed that game in round 1. And he's been pretty good, right? 3 of his last 4 have been over 130. I think Ned Long is really unlocking Daicos in terms of his potential this year. I think he's a minimum of 110 from here. Particularly with Ned Long, he's getting a lot more outside ball. His marks are slightly up as well, like 6, 7, 1, 3, and 6. He obviously got tagged for only the 1 mark against Carlton, but outside that, he got tagged for 3, but then he got 6 against Brisbane. I just think he's an absolute gun. We know how good he is, and I just think he's going to be one of the top sort of 4 midfielders. So I think if you can get him in, great. He'd be one of my top targets if you can get him in this week if you missed him. So yeah, Nick Daicos for me, love him as an option if you can get to him. Matt Carroll's next. One of my favourite rookies for this week. But again, he still comes with a bit of a risk, right? So he's gone 52 and 68 in his first 2 games. -4 break even. 314k is good. Good price. Solid break even. The flag though, and this is flagged by, was it Jordox last night on our pod, is that Lockie Cowan was going to be out for 4 weeks. Now all of a sudden he's a test. So he might be back this week. And that means that's probably Matt Carroll's spot, right? So that's the risk with him, is that Cowan could come in for him. So I was originally pretty keen on Matt Carroll. He was probably my favourite downgrade option this week. But with that news, it's a bit risky. He's 314k. If he plays 1 game and gets dropped, he's 350. He's probably not really worth enough where you can really trade him out. So it'll be interesting. I probably just hope that Carroll's, all honesty, I hope he's just dropped and we don't have to worry about it. Because if he's named and Cowan's not, there's a bit of a risk there. So yeah, that's the only risk there. But again, if he's named and Cowan is named as well, I'd probably prefer that, and I think he's not a bad option. But yeah, bit risky there as well, bit like Tunstall. Next is Max Gawn, so just under 3k and making that move. I think TDK to Gawn is probably going to be a pretty popular move this week from coaches. Richmond up this week, and then West Coast for Gawn. Got a pretty good recent history against Richmond. Also averaging 113.58 in his career against Richmond. Obviously goes pretty well at the MCG as well, average of 103. So that's just fantastic from Gawney. Back in form, back-to-back scores, 118, 125 after a 3-week stretch. Looks like a lot of the rucks have had 3-week stretches where they've been pretty poor. Like TDK's done it. Marshall's also doing that. Cherry did it and then went back to form and then Gawn. So it's pretty interesting that 3 games seems to be where rucks are having a bit of a slump. So, but again, I like Gawn. If you've got nothing else to do, TDK to Gawn could be a move that you could look at making, particularly with the good matchups for Gawn. But he is 33. I don't think he's going to be playing every game for this year. I think there will be a game or two where he does get rested at some point. But at the moment, he has to play because Melbourne needs to start winning a heap of these games. So, but Gawn, don't mind him as a target. Chris Petrarca, really like this as a target. So, obviously, had a bit of a slower start to the year. Still little after effects of the cold from the weekend. So, but yeah, back-to-back tons. Had the most CBAs for Melbourne on the weekend, which was also positive, and they won. So they're not going to change it, I don't think. I think he's a great target. I think he's a top 6 forward. He's a forward. That's what you've got to remember. He's a forward now. I think he's a top 6 forward. I really do. And with Richmond and West Coast in his next two, I think he's a fantastic target. Under 900K, not going to be too many times you can really say you can get a guy like Chris Petrarca under 900K. So he'd be one of my top targets this week, and he'll definitely be in my top 5 targets, which I'll mention later on. Ned Long, 6th most traded in, just under 2K. And you can see the diversity. Like, you've got one player over 10K, a couple over 3K, but then there's a lot of these 2K, 1K, a lot of people going a lot of different directions this week. But Ned Long, I like. Break even to 33. His last two have been good. He's gone 104.81. But the big thing for me is, you look at it and you see there's a couple of 30s there, but you look at, right, played a quarter against GOS, scored a 30. Played a full game against Port, scored 90. Played most of a full game, 3.5 quarters against the Bulldogs, scored 72. Then scored 31 in a quarter against Carlton, and then 104 and 81 in his last 2 full games. But he's playing over 80% now. Collingwood have pretty much said how important he is at the moment. He's obviously doing really good things for Nick Dacos, but I also think he's also doing really good things for his own game. So that average of 68 is definitely not indicative of what he's going to do. I think he's an 80 guy, and I think there's an ability where he can go 85, maybe touch 90. Obviously, you've got to have a few tons in there, so I probably think it's more close to 80 than it is 90, but somewhere in the 80 to 90 range is where I see him going. His run's pretty good as well. Essendon, Geelong, Freo, Crows, North Melbourne, Hawthorn, and Melbourne. So I like the run. It's opened up, obviously, a tricky run for Collingwood to start. And he's the perfect player to hold to his buy. If he's your M8 at your buy, and then you can trade him around 14 and get a premium, that's a good play. So he's the perfect play, right? If you can't go a rookie down, a rookie up to someone like a Petrarca, or we'll speak about Lockie Ash in a sec, or someone like that, I think Ned Long's a really good option. Bank a little bit of cash, take that into next week, and then do a bigger upgrade the following week. So Ned Long, I'm a big fan of, and he's definitely in my trade plans for this week if I decide to go down that path. Next, we have got Lockie Ash, number 7, 1.8K. He's been very, very good, averaging 102 for the year, including that 60 in round 1, when a lot of people would have traded off of him. But since then, he's gone, since the bye, 195, 113, 118. Just been absolutely fantastic. I guess the only thing is, right, he's priced at 936. Now, you're not bringing him in to make cash anymore. You're bringing him in to be a top 6 to 8 defender. So if you're looking, and you've probably got to ask yourself, do you think he's a top 6 to 8 defender? If it's yes, he's still value. He's priced at 936, which is, high 90s, I think. So if you think he's going over 100, you've probably got a couple points of upside. If you think he's overperformed, then he's probably not someone you're looking at, right? So it depends where you probably see him. You've got a few guys around that price, like Flanders isn't too much more expensive. He's coming down in price. Josh Dacos, Rory Laird, a bit cheaper than Lockie Ash. You've got guys like Zorko and Sinclair who've got big break-evens over $1 million that will be closer to the high 900K soon. So it really depends where you see Ash. I think he's a solid option, and he's a little bit of value. It just depends, yeah. And the good thing is he's been scoring well while Whitfield's been scoring well. If he was going well and Whitfield wasn't, I'd be concerned. But the fact they're both going well, it depends if you think it can be sustainable, right? So, don't mind Lockie Ash as a target this week. Next is actually his teammate Lockie Whitfield. 1.7K jumping on him. He's just been fantastic, right? Averaging 116. Got better every week. Had a lower score against the Saints with 86, but then went straight back up to 143. He's just a very, very good footballer. Gets involved. He's the highest averaging player in the game at the moment, so he's overtaken Merritt now with that big score. He's going to be a top 6 defender, definitely. He's probably going to be a top 2 defender, if not the number 1 defender. 1.144 million, though, at this time of the year, with the lack of rookies that we've got in terms of like trade-in targets. I don't love paying up for Whitfield. If you had a completed team now, by all means, go for it. But we don't. And no one's got a completed team at the moment. So that's my concern, is that you pay for him now, you're probably paying, let's say, that's 200k more than Lockie Ash, right? Or 250k more than a Dacos or a Laird, right? And we think Dacos, Laird are probably 95, maybe around that mark. Whitfield's probably a 110, 115 guy. I don't know if the 250k or so is worth paying up for, even though he's such a good option, right? If you've got him, you're enjoying it, and he's great. I just don't know if I love paying up that much. But great player. I think his run is okay. Yeah, it's pretty good, right? It's like Bulldogs, Sydney's tough, Geelong, Freo, Carlton, Richmond. Pretty good. Sydney obviously could be a tag there, so that obviously Nono's be hoping that he gets tagged, drops a bit in price, and becomes an option. But he's got the good buy as well. Round 16, not a lot of our premiums have got that buy, so he could be a good option for you if you're looking to fix up a little bit of your buys. So, yeah, don't mind Lockie Whitfield. Number 9, most trading players, Cozzy Pickett. He's been great, right? He's been very, very good, and he's got Richmond West Coast his next 2. 118 last week. Then he went before, I think it was 87.99. So he's been really good, and that 87 could have been more with 3 behinds. The only 2 concerns I've got with this. One, we've seen this before. Literally seen this before, where he's gone big and then he'll go and drop some bad scores. And my other concern is people be looking at his role and going, he's got a lot of CBAs. It's really, really good. Just his role isn't like the CBAs, I think, a little bit sort of not really telling the true story of what Cozzy Pickett is, right? Cozzy Pickett has got the role of think of like a Jake Stringer type. Cozzy Pickett's better than Jake Stringer. I'm not saying, I'm just using that as an example, where he'll start in the CBA, but then he'll then be the deepest forward. We saw that a lot of times. That's why he kicked 5 goals, because he would be in the CBAs, get some touches there, would then go deep forward and play as almost like a 1-out deep, right? Not all the time. He would sometimes push up the ground and play around stoppages, but there would be times where he'd play deep forward. You could say it's slightly similar to like a Horn Francis type. I think Horn Francis is a lot more midfield though. So my only worry is that I could just see him drop a 40 or a 50 out of nowhere. I am in draft, right? I've got him in a dynasty team. I've owned him for a few years, and I know that this happens. So you take the good scores. Obviously, the caveat to that is, right, he's 783. He probably might be the best you can get to. And he's got Richmond, West Coast. He's X2, right? So you could look at doing that. The only problem as well I have is that I don't like the argument of it's the best I can get to, because then you might start looking at guys that you're not really sure about, you're probably not confident in, and then all of a sudden you might have 2 or 3 guys that are just, you got to trade out, but you were like, that was the best I can get to. So that's the only concerns. But if you're keen on Cozzy Pickett, he's got 2 great matchups, he's scoring well, looking really good, I think you could go for it, but I'm just a bit cautious of the Cozzy Pickett pick. So that's my thoughts on Cozzy Pickett. Will White is the 10th most traded in 1.5k. I'm not huge on this. His job security is probably better than the likes of Matt Carroll. He's playing really well as a forward. Negative 11 break even. Scored a 72 last week. And then, 45, then a 69, then a 72. Obviously has played West Coast and North Melbourne in the last 2 games. His role, I don't think is going to be hugely fantasy scoring. But again, beggars can't be choosers. He might be the best you can get to, right? He might be the best rookie that there is. So just one to watch. I just don't love the elevated price, because like we were looking at guys like Bison at this price, but they're really, really good options. But as a bench rookie, again, if we get no options, we might have to go for it, right? But not someone I love in terms of a long-term money maker for us. Just some other names here. So the Bont came back really well last week. 119, looked like the best player in the comp again. And he played limited game time, right? So he only played, 71% game time or something like that? Yeah, 71%, and he still scored a 119, which is fantastic. He, again, expensive though, over 1.1 mil. I'm probably not looking there just yet. He's got Giants and Port next 2, pretty tough matchups at Monaco and then Ballarat, and then Gold Coast at TIO. in Darwin, so I don't love the next 3 stadiums, and the next 2 matchups for Giant support aren't great. For me, he's the perfect player to bring in after his round 12 bye. Like, could cop attention here against Essendon and then Geelong. Then he goes, he's got a decent enough runs to St Kilda, Richmond, round 14 for I think he's a great target in like round 14 or round 13. I think I'd be targeting him there. I think he's a perfect post-bye target, not a guy I'd be looking at now. But he was great, and he looked really good. So if you want to upgrade to him, I probably couldn't talk you out of it. Nick Martin, I love him as a target. A defender forward's really, really handy. You can go a defender up or a forward up, and you can leave him there, and you can always put him back forward late if you bring him in for a defender. So he could be someone there. Hamish Davis is a downgrade option as well. 231k. He obviously played a first full game last week, I think. He was sub 2 weeks before. Scored a 43. Again, beggars can't be choosers, and if we don't get anyone named and like a Carroll got dropped and a Tunstall got dropped and Hamish Davis was the one guy there, then maybe he's a downgrade target. He's 231k. I think they're going to play him. I think that they like him at the moment. He's got a decent sort of fixture. Hawthorn isn't great, but then Melbourne, Richmond, and St Kilda is pretty good. So again, someone to put on the watch list as a rookie target, just because there's obviously not a huge amount of options this week. John Newcomb, I think at this point, a little bit like Lockie Ash, you're picking him to be thinking he's going to be a top 8 to 10 midfielder. I don't think he is. He's been fantastic, right? He's gone really well last few games. Back-to-back scores of 118, but he can drop these 70s and 80s, and a fair few of them, right? So if you think he's a top 8 midfielder, by all means, go for it. He's got a great run. Hawthorn's run is fantastic, particularly next 3. But up until their bye is pretty good. So if you think he's a top 8 mid, go for it. I think you're getting him for value. I just don't think he's a top 8 to 10 midfielder. I think he's more in the sort of 12 to 18, maybe even just inside the 20. So yeah, he's getting up to the point where he's nearly $1 million and he's not as much value. So if you think he's a top 8 mid, go for it. If you don't, I would be passing. Hewitt, probably too expensive for my liking. I think he's over 400k, 403. Had a massive second half to get that 77. He is an impact player, and over 400k. I know that when we say beggars can't be choosers with rookies, but I think he is too expensive, so I wouldn't be going there personally. And then Jed Bustling and Hugh Boxall are 2 to watch. I think Boxall could get named this week, and I think if he's named, I don't think he'd be the sub. He could. Obviously, Garcia's been sub. Travali's been sub. He could be. I think he gets named, though. By all reports, he was best on ground for Sandringham in their win against the Dogs in the VFL. He scored 135 points as well with like 33 disposals, 6 marks, 9 tackles or something. So he was great. I think he gets named, and I think he could play. And if he's named, I'd be happy to launch him straight away. So we saw he had some good things in the preseason, could play. And then Jed Bustling has been someone we've thought could debut for a while. With Darcy's injury, does a few things get shuffled? Does he go into the team in defence and they throw like a O'Donnell and Karmas forward? Or a lob? I think they like lob in defence, so I wouldn't say that he'd go forward, but maybe they switch some things around and he comes in. So just someone to keep an eye on, but we've had a few weeks where we've thought he's going to come in and he just hasn't yet. So just someone to keep an eye on if he gets a debut this week. Moving over to the most traded out players, and a lot of these are rookies that people are culling that have made their cash. So Luke Trainer's the most traded out, 8.5k. Probably a little bit out of annoyance that he was a sub. I'm still in favour of probably holding him, unless trading him out gets you the upgrade you need, right? But Melbourne this week, great matchup. You may even be able to loop him if you've got an O'Connell or if a Hasty's not named or you've got a leak or something. But 3 of his next 4 pretty good. Melbourne, Hawthorn, West Coast, and North Melbourne. Pretty good month to come for Trainer. And I'm pretty happy sitting him at D6 because he scored the 2, obviously. But before that, he went 62, 33 against Port when Richmond didn't touch the ball at all. But 78, 74, 90 in his previous 3 games. And that's including going against Brisbane. St Kilda for a decent matchup, particularly St Kilda for defenders. So I think it's still a good option at D6, particularly with the next month. I'm more in favour of holding him because I think there's other guys you could probably trade around him. But again, if he's the guy that gets you the upgrade, his break-even is 58 now. Not like he's going to make 200k like maybe we might have thought he might have been able to get. He might make 100k more if he can pop a 90 this week and kickstart that cash in a bit more. But with that 2, it's really sort of stung a bit with his cash gen. Like he's not making anywhere near as much as what we probably thought. But he still had a good year, 233k made. But Yeah, so he could go. I'd rather hold. I'm happy to trade Mariah, so 5K jumping off. He's made his cash. Obviously, for a lot of us, he's only made about 110, 115K. We probably want a little bit more, but just hasn't backed up that 94 that he scored against, 93 against Essendon, 54, 40, and 30. Game time's been right down as well. So he can go. Break-even's 52. He's made the cash, and he's the perfect downgrade if you can go him down and then someone up. I'm more than happy to trade him. Tom De Koning, 4.6K jumping off him. As I said with these rucks, it's been three. It's been in threes at the moment. And Tom De Koning's no different. Started the season off really well. First three games, 132, 107, 130. But his last three, 82, 75, and 62. His hitouts have stayed relatively the same, but it's his disposals, right? So he had 28, 19, and 28. He's had 19, 14, and 11. So it's his work around the ground that's dropped off, which obviously we've all seen that he's gotten a little bit tired. That's what we've noticed. His marks, obviously, say he had the one game of 8, but he's mostly taken sort of 3 around there. And his tackles haven't been huge all year. So it's more as just touches around the ground. I still want to hold him as long as Pitney's not named as well. Break into 143, hopefully turns it round and can go okay. But he's got, Stanley, O'Brien, Marshall, Grundy, Briggs. So it's not, you'd say, an amazing run. But I think he'll still be staying solo because I think Harry Mackay, should be back this week. I haven't seen the injury report yet, but I would imagine he's probably going to be back this week from concussion. It worked well last week. They don't need to have De Koning, Mackay, Curnow, and Pitney all in the same team. So I'd like to think that they can. And De Koning's been playing well in the ruck, right? They were raving on about how good he was against Cherry on Good Friday. Where is he? Harry Mackay's a test, right? Blues are hopeful that Mackay returns for Sun's clash with the Cats, but we'll need to pass through protocols this week. So, and Pitney had 17 touches, 15 hitouts in his first appearance in the Magoos. So it's not like he set the world on fire. I think De Koning will still be solo. I'm still holding, but again, 143 break even. If you want to trade to a Gawn or a Cherry, that's certainly something that you could look at doing. But I also think that we could be using we don't want to be using multiple trades in the ruck line. We want to leave it there because it's not like there's one ruck at the moment that's setting the world on fire. Like Gawn's been good the last 2 weeks, but people were looking at trading him before that. Cherry had obviously the hamstring issue. De Koning started well, but now he's dropping cash. English hasn't set the world on fire. Marshall's dropped some bad scores. Like Darcy Cameron has been good if you started him, but you're probably not trading into him now. So yeah, De Koning, I'm probably looking at holding, but I don't blame you if you're trading him. Max Hall can go. Yep, dropped the 43 on the weekend or somewhere around there. Yep, he had a pretty good first quarter, but outside that didn't do much. Break-ends up to 52. He's up to 501K. You can trade him and thank him for his services because he's making a lot of cash. 271K, which is fantastic. So he can go. Sam De Koning, yep, can go. He's obviously playing key back now. Scored 41. Obviously, he's dropping in cash now. Dropped 33K. You don't want to hold him much longer because he's going to undo all that work that he did to start the year. He still made 120K if you've still got him, but he can go. He's not playing in the ruck anymore. They've got Stanley there. Finn O'Sullivan can go. Obviously, he's only 398K, so you're not going to be able to do a huge amount with him. But if you can go him down to Marias up and do a trade that way and get like a Ned Long, I like that. That's something I've looked at this week. 46 break-even, like he's only gone over that, twice this year? 3 times, sorry. 51, 52, 54. So not like he's blown out the 46. He's barely gone over that this year. And he just doesn't look like he's going to be popping a 70 or an 80 anytime soon. So, and Port, Essendon, Brisbane next 3. Essendon's fine, but Brisbane's not great. Port's obviously not good at all either. Richmond and Collingwood are fine, but yeah, he can go. He's not on it. Yeah, he doesn't have to go, but he can also go at the same time. Zach Reid, but in terms of he's not making any more cash, it's more just like, can you do something on the other end with trading Finn O'Sullivan? Zach Reid, 2.7K jumping off. He could go as well. Break-even is still 31 though. He still has got a pretty good run coming up. So he's still got Collingwood, North Melbourne, Sydney, Bulldogs, Richmond, his next 5. Obviously, Sydney's a bit tricky, but he's under the roof at Marvel. But then Dogs, Collingwood, Richmond, North Melbourne are pretty good matchups there. So I'd still be looking at holding him. But again, like I said with Trainer, if he gets you the upgrade you need, like you could go Reid down, Trainer up, I think that you could look at doing something like that. Will Ashcroft, wow, that was disappointing. 41 points, break in 115, dropped 19k. Just hasn't been the pick, right? So, obviously, he started with a 66, then dropped a 90, 115, 105, 101. So, like, to be fair, the months before that, it was pretty good. 3 tons in a row. I would probably hold, personally. He's got St Kilda, Gold Coast, North Melbourne, and Melbourne in his next 4. That's still a pretty nice run for midfielders. Then he's got Hawthorn and Essendon. So Hawthorn's not great, but Essendon's fine. I'd still hold Will Ashcroft. Yeah, because I think you can do other upgrades, and I think Ashcroft is like every Brisbane player sucked on the weekend, right? So I would still be holding Will Ashcroft personally, and just forgetting that 41 happened and just moving on. But if your team's in a really good spot and you can go Will Ashcroft to Dacos, for example, I wouldn't be opposed to doing something like that if you can't do another upgrade on the other end. But for me, I'm probably still looking at holding. Sam Darcy, if you had him, if you started him, great pick. He's been really good. Obviously, was one of the best players, if not the best player in the comp to start the year. But with that injury, obviously, he's out for, 3 months, 4 months. Obviously, good. It was an ACL, but he's still out for a while. He's been a great pick. Started off with a 65, but 109 on 128, 82. Disappointing he got injured. But yeah, you can trade him now. Hopefully we see him back sooner rather than later. But he's got to go. Tom Powell can go. I'd prefer to trade Tom Powell over Will Ashcroft. Like Tom Powell hasn't turned up since round 1 when he got the 120. Obviously, should have turned up in round 2 with the 98, but since then, 72, 92, 81, 75, not getting it done, dropping in cash. He's only made 50k for the year now, so he can go. Obviously, it was a good pick to start, but he's dropping now. So going him up to a premium is a good move, and that would be something I'd be exploring. Or even going a power down to Ned Long, going a rookie up to someone. If you can make that work, that could be something you look at doing. Davidson, I think we've gone past the top 10 now as well. So what was it? So 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, Power was number 10. So Davidson, he was great last week. Made some good cash again, 87. He doesn't have to go. 34 break even. Still got a little bit of cash to make. But again, if he gets the upgrade you want, 608k, he can go. I don't love the next 3 matchups for him. Manuka, Mars, and TIO, awful grounds to score at. And then Giants and Port are pretty tough as well. And then obviously Gold Coast, but it's a TIO. So I'd be happy to trade. He might make another 50k, but I don't think I see him making much more just because of the matchups and the grounds. If he had a better run, I'd be happy to hold because he's got a low break even, but I'd be still happy to trade. I traded him last week. Obviously, it sucked that he got the 87 when I traded him, but I would have done that there. Sam Draper, obviously, he's out for the season, so he's got to go, but looked really good, and I was looking at maybe trading him in this week if he continued the way he was going. So look, he's going to ton up. We would have turned up again. But yeah, so unfortunate that he is going to be out for the remainder of the season. Corey Warner can go. Conor O'Sullivan can go. Kako can go. Saligo, I was a bit worried this would happen. Like these lower scores would come. Obviously, they had a good start to the year, the Crows, but last 3 games, Saligo's dropped off 92, 52, 79. So if you've got him, he's obviously dropping fairly quickly. A little bit like Powell, he could go. If he gets the upgrade to a premium midfielder, I think this could be a week to fix someone like a Saliga or a Powell up, so he can go. And Sid Draper as well. Obviously, he's not making a huge amount of cash. He's not scoring a huge amount either. He only scored 13 points last week. He's dropping, so he can go. Obviously, he'll be a gun in the future, but yeah, just at the moment, he's just not scoring the points and making the cash, so he can go. Cool. My top 5 targets for the week. So at number 1. I've got Nick Dacos. If you can get him in this week, I think he's a really good play. I think this is... And when I said last week to get him in, again, you can trade Nick Dacos in whenever you want. But in terms of getting enough value from him, this is probably the last week to look at him. Otherwise, you're probably looking at other options in terms of value. So in saying that, if you can get Dacos in this week, I really like going for him. So he'd be my number 1 target. And it feels a bit weird putting him at number 1. But just if you don't have him, I think he's going to be really, really good. So I've got him at number 1. But for a lot of people, they're probably not going there. But at number 2, I've got Christian Petrarca. Price cheap, under 900k. Richmond West Coast next 2. Available now as a forward. I think he's a top 6 forward, under 900k. Good price. I really like him as an option. So I would be having him at number 2 as a trade-in option. Coming in at number 3, I've actually got Ned Long. I've got Ned Long at number 3. And the reason I got him at number 3 is because a lot of people, again, this is for different price ranges, right? So Nick Dacos I like as the best premium to go up if you've got money to spend. If you're trying to take a bit of a haircut, I like Petrarca the most. And then if you can't afford those, the guy I like the most is Ned Long. I think you're going to get an upgrade in points if you're benching like a Cleary or a Lawler or a Marias or someone like that. You're going to get an upgrade because I think Long's around the 80 mark, maybe 85. So you're going to get like a 20, 30 point increase there. But he's also going to make cash for you at the same time. Obviously, his break-in was what? Was it like 33 or something like that? Break-in to 33. So he's going to make good cash. I think he can make a good 100, 150K. And if he can pop 100 in the next month, he's going to make more than that. So, Ned Long, I like. And if you can do 2 sort of failed rookies to him, I like that play. So he is my number 3. Gets a bit tricky here. But at number 4, I'm actually going to put... So he's not actually on this list. Actually, where is he down here? Is he down here somewhere? I'm actually going to put 4 and 5. I'm going to go Jason Horne-Francis and Isaac Rankin. And I'm just trying to figure out who I'd put at 4. North, Bulldogs, Adelaide, Geelong, and Freo for Horne-Francis. And then Isaac Rankin has got... who's he got? Freo, Carlton, Port, Collingwood. So a bit of a trickier month for Rankin. A little bit cheaper. I'll probably put them at 4 and 5, but pretty close together because I just like how they get their forwards. I think they'll be top 6 or in and around top 6 to 8 anyway, and they're both pretty cheap, and a lot of people can't get up higher. So I like these 2. I don't mind Tim Taranto as well, who's sitting there. Obviously, not a huge amount of people jumping on him still. Tom Stewart, I don't love yet. I want to see something from him before jumping on. I obviously own him, and he's been a bad own. Warple, don't mind him. Really good run coming up, and he's cheap. So he's another guy that in a price range where if you can get to him, I don't mind someone like him. Rivers, I probably wouldn't go near, even though he's got a good couple of matchups there. I think Bowie's probably a little bit too expensive. Now you've probably missed the boat, even though he's going really well. Sanders, if you had a good run coming up, I'd be fine to trade in him, but you missed the 130. His role is still not great. His confidence is up, though, and he's getting around the ground and pushing up the ground. I think his game time's even taken a little bit of an uptick as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there you go. Back-to-back weeks, well over 80%, and he was like low 70s, and then it's taken an uptick in the last 3 weeks. So last 3 weeks has been good. I wish I still owned him because I definitely wouldn't have traded out even if I knew that this is what he was going to do. But I don't know if I'd trade back into him. Again, you could. I'm just not sure. I think I said Nick Martin as well. I really like Nick Martin as an option. Defender forward. Good run still to come. So a few guys there. Still like Gorn if you want to make that move there. And I don't love any of the rookies this week, so that's why they're not in the top 5 targets. So, sorry, forgot to put my mic on mute then. My trade plans this week. So currently at the moment, I've got Finn O'Sullivan down to Matt Carroll. Again, I don't know which rookie it will be in. Is it Matt Carroll? Is it Boxall if he comes in? Is it Bustling if he comes in? Or is it a Tunstall? Or is it a Davis? Or there was like one other rookie as well? Or a Will White? Is it one of those guys? It'll be downgraded for someone. If it is Will White, it'll have to be Wicks going instead of Finn O'Sullivan. And then it will be Marias up to Ned Long. That's what I'm looking at doing. I'll bank a little bit of cash as well. So taking into next week, hopefully upgrading like a Lawler or a Marrick if he doesn't get it done. But Marrick's run coming up is pretty nice. Levi Ashcroft as well could be someone that maybe goes early. So yeah, looking at upgrading one of those guys next week. Just getting Ned Long in because there's like rookies are drying up. I think getting a Ned Long in to make cash, but also score some points is a good option. So that's what I'm looking at doing this week for my trades. But let me know in the comments below, guys, what you guys doing with your trades this week, and any trade questions, as always, put them in the comments below, and I'll get to them hopefully when I can, and I'll try and get to as many as possible this week. We'll be back tomorrow for a captain's video, and then there won't be a watch long on Thursday because I'm going out for dinner because it's my birthday on Friday. And then on Friday, I don't know if we're doing a pre-lockout chat yet, because as I said, that's Anzac Day and my birthday. So whether we do one or not, I'm not sure. There won't be a watch-along on Friday night either, which sucks because I want to get these watch-alongs done, but it's been a couple of weeks since I've been able to do one. There should be one Saturday, though. So I there'll be at least a watch-along this week. Worst case is it's just Saturday, but we might have on. Actually, no, we will just be doing one on Saturday. So because there won't be one Thursday or Friday. So there'll be one Saturday night, and that'll be the Giants and the Dogs. So we're doing one for that one. So yeah, looking forward to that watch long list because I know a few of you guys have been asking about the watch longs. But yeah, I'll be doing another bit of extra content probably tomorrow. I'm recording it tomorrow night on the Patreon. So if you want to become Patreon, head to patreon.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. I'll be reviewing the top 5 teams in the AFL Fantasy Fanatics Patreon Cup Open League. So the winners get some cash prizes there. So I'll be reviewing those teams, seeing how they're going. Yeah, some other bonus stuff in the Patreon will be coming over the next few weeks. Exclusive Q&As every week. Heaps of bonus content. You get the Ask Me on Q service for free. So if you want to become a Patreon, then head over there and become a Patreon. Link is in the description. But if you just want to use the Ask Me on Q service for a small fee, just as a once-off, then head to askmeonq, spelled qu.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics to get all your questions answered there as well. Personalised audio response. You can send screenshots of your team through. I can review your full team. If you want advice on trades or anything you want, you can send it through there and I can answer them there through there. But as I said, Patrons get it for free. So if you want to become Patreon, then yes, sign up there. So cool. Make sure you smash like on the video. Trade Talk, as I always say, it is the most popular video on the channel. So I think over 3,000 have been watching the last few weeks. So if we can get I think our record for likes is like 300 or just under 300, right? So if we can get over 300 likes on this video, so that's 1 in 10 of you guys. But if more than you can do, that'd be fantastic. So all it does takes 1 second, literally 2 seconds. You click the like button and that's it. It helps us out a whole bunch. So it'd be very much appreciated if as many of you guys can do that as possible. Let's try and set a new record for likes done. So we very much appreciate if you guys can do that. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We're less than 300 away now from 4,000, which is our big goal. You guys have been smashing the subscribe button over the last few months, which has been fantastic. So if you haven't subscribed yet, get involved in the action and click subscribe. Daily content on the AFL Fantasy Fanatics YouTube channel. So yeah, as I said, catch you guys tomorrow for our captain video. We'll catch you guys then. So have a good night, guys. Catch you then. See ya.